Okay, so what's up guys, it's Matters, and within this video we're going to be talking about Black Ops 4 Zombies and the possibility of us seeing new remastered maps, obviously besides from the ones, from Zombies Chronicles and stuff like that, different maps that we have left, like Mob of the Dead, and like other Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2 maps. Could we be seeing those within this game? We're going to talk about the specific maps, and we're going to talk about the actual tease from the leak, from Marcus Sellers, and all this different stuff that has been going on with him recently with Black Ops 4 in general. Just the possibilities we have right now of seeing these, remastered zombie maps come to Black Ops 4, and we'll talk about, in the form of a base map or DLC maps and how they're going to do it and just all this insane stuff. So that being said, lots to talk about. If you can leave a like, that'd be greatly appreciated. Subscribe for more Black Ops 4 Zombies videos. And that being said, let's get started. So we're going to start off here with the string of tweets that sort of originated this whole thing. Josh Olin is this guy that used to work at Treyarch, developer or something like that. He basically responded to Marcus's original tweet. His was obviously, stating that Black Ops 4 was going to be the game, modern times, boots on the ground, it's going to be with the Switch. So that was the original tweet that sparked the whole Black Ops 4 discussion. And Josh is basically saying, how did this get so many retweets? I could have told you this 2 years ago. Obviously, you can take it probably two ways. You can take it like, oh, well, anyone could have said this. I could have said this 2 years ago. I could have said this 10 years ago. It's pretty obvious that that's the case. It's not really hard for someone to say that it's going to be Black Ops 4, modern times, boots on the ground. It's pretty obvious things there that anyone can make up. But it also could mean it's obvious in that, well, yeah, no doubt it's going to be Black Ops 4. I think everyone expects it to be Black Ops 4, and why would it be any different? And Josh could be probably saying that as well. And someone responds, what about BO1 Remastered? Just some random comment there. Josh says, I would seriously doubt it. You'll see some old maps though, I'm sure. Which I don't know how Josh exactly knows that. You'll see some old maps though, I'm sure. That's pretty weird there. Again, is that meaning that Black Ops 4 will specifically see old maps from Black Ops 1? Is he responding directly to that claim? And then Marcus, responds to that like a Zombies one, just, reassuring that we're talking about zombies here in case that one noob was, trying to include multiplayer. If anyone was trying to include multiplayer, Marcus says like a Zombies one, but pretty defiantly and pretty cryptically, and it's just weird. And let's go through the meaning of this here. Now, you could take it two different ways. You can take it as, okay, is he directly responding to the Black Ops 1 claim? Is he responding to just old maps in general? Because I think with all of us, the obvious map that we're probably going to see alongside the new map right when the game comes out in November would probably be Mob of the Dead Remastered. I think it sort of just makes sense at this point. We saw Shadows of Evil, and we saw Deriz Remastered, The Giant. With Black Ops 4, we're going to see this new map, and then alongside that, Mob of the Dead Remastered. I've been saying this for like over a year now, almost 2 years. I think a lot of people have been as well. It's pretty obvious. It makes sense. But this could be different. This could be something different here because we're mentioning Black Ops 1. And again, maybe they weren't directly, responding to that one noob Twitter guy here where he says Black Ops 1 Remastered, and then he responds to it. You'll see some old maps though. We don't know exactly, but what we do know is that Black Ops 1, at least with the zombie maps, pretty much all of the maps have been remastered, They remastered every map pretty much except for Call of the Dead and 5. We have every other map, maybe Dap's Arcade or whatever, but that's all we need, Call of Dead and 5. So if that's the case, then are we seeing Call of the Dead and or 5 a part of this game? Which one is more likely to be remastered if you want to take one out? Probably Call of the Dead. I don't expect them to have 3 maps on launch, and it wouldn't really make sense for them just to throw those maps in. Obviously, if you're gonna remaster a map, it's gotta have some purpose. It's gotta have some meaning, and maybe they have some crazy reasoning for remastering 5. Call of the Dead makes a bit more sense. They could do a bit more with it, even though it was sort of like the spin-off map. There's still a lot of stuff going on within Call of Dead with the actual 1.0 characters. But other than that, 5, I just don't see that being a thing. I don't think anyone really does. 5 could be a cool map, remastered, but probably not gonna happen. So since that's out of the question pretty much, Black Ops 1, the only map they would really remaster would be Call of Dead, which if you're speaking on, you know, general terms, that's a pretty sick map to be remastered. I think a lot of people were actually not pissed, but they were just sort of, you know, like, oh man, you know, with the Zombie Chronicles, it would have been cool to see Call of Duty Remastered. It would have been a cool thing. It would have been cool to see Mob of the Dead Remastered as well, but, you know, obviously we can't get everything we want. It would have been cool to see pretty much any map, Transit Remastered, you know, there's all different cases you can make, but Call of Duty was one of those maps, you know, it's a cool, different map, and I think that being remastered would give some more life into it, because it's definitely underrated. It definitely wasn't played enough back in the day, and people don't appreciate it, and it's, you know, it's a different, cool map. Why they would remaster it specifically, you know, regarding storyline and just in general, no one really knows. I mean, again, we don't know for sure. I'm just going off of the Black Ops 1 claim. If Marcus is saying, like a Zombies 1, referring to Black Ops 1 Remastered specifically, or, you know, Black Ops 1 Remastered content within Black Ops 4, I guess that would be the case there, then the only map I could really, you know, fathom would be Call of the Dead. Now, if Marcus is saying like a Zombies 1 responding to just generally old maps from old Call of Duty games, Mob of the Dead Remastered is the clear winner there, and at that point, that makes a lot more sense. You could probably see a lot more stuff actually occur within that, and yeah, Mob of the Dead Remastered would really make sense there. Now, if you want to talk about throwaway maps and maps that you really just can't see stand with a base Zombies map, like obviously you're not going to see the new Zombies map that comes out in November and then alongside that 5 Remastered, or alongside that, you know, Transit Remastered. These types of maps are sort of the maps where we want to see them occur, we want to see them remastered, but they're not big enough and they just don't have as much importance as, you know, Mob of the Dead may have, or, you know, maybe Buried I can see being remastered, just because like that's the end of the Victus crew and they can do something with that on how they actually maybe escape Buried or something like that. So the only way for us to be able to actually play these maps or actually receive these remaster maps would have to be what I feel like we originally thought Black Ops 3 was going to be, where we actually saw remastered zombie maps throughout the DLC season rather than just at the base, you know, game. And or at the bit, you know, in November, and that's really it. Or, you know, you can't rely on a DLC 5 for every game. You can't rely on a DLC 5 for Black Ops 4 to include, you know, every Zombies map that wasn't remastered from Zombies Chronicles. I feel like that's just a bad thing to go off of. So if you realistically, you know, want Transit Remastered or Die Rise Remastered or 5 Remastered or these other maps that we just didn't see that we sort of want to see but aren't big enough to be with the base game in November for Black Ops 4, the only way would be alongside DLC 1, DLC 2, DLC 3, DLC 4. I don't really know how they would do it unless they replace and put more effort towards zombies instead of multiplayer. So we see, you know, 3 multiplayer maps and 2 zombie maps, 1 remastered zombie map, 1 new zombie map. I think that would make sense. I think a large part of the audience for a Treyarch game at this point, probably zombies. Zombies is a huge portion of their audience. Again, considering Zombies Chronicles, probably the best-selling map pack that they've ever had, and obviously it was all zombie maps that we've already seen, all remastered zombie maps. So the audience is there. It would make sense for them to do that. Again, Mob of the Dead Remastered, Buried Remastered, those are large enough and fairly important enough to be in the base game, and, you know, those are the 2 maps that we have the best chances of actually seeing, you know, be remastered with, you know, a new crew or a different crew or a continuation of those storylines and something along the lines where, you know, it's a popular map, they're solid maps, it makes sense for them to be remastered, and it'll sort of be a win-win situation for everyone. It'll be good all around. If they start off Black Ops 4 with Transit Remastered, you know, for one, especially people that are new to the Call of Duty franchise, they don't understand that it's a meme. They don't understand that it's nostalgia. They sort of just say, like, look at this crappy remastered map that we're playing, like, this map sucks, you know? I don't know how much they would change Transit in a remaster, but I'm assuming they wouldn't change it that much, you know? Like, it still would be pretty similar to what it was before. You know, obviously they'd probably, you know, change things with the fog and the bus, and maybe make the bus, you know, controllable, or, you know, you can call the bus to wherever you want, or, you know, make a better wonder weapon. Like, for people that were around in Black Ops 2 and played Transit Remastered would be a fairly cool and interesting and sick map to see. Like, what if they perfected Transit? What if they made Transit an actual decent map? I think a lot of people would love to see that. But if you're just going to Black Ops 4 without ever playing Call of Duty before, you're just like, what is this map? Why would they ever have this alongside the other map? And then you'd only play one map, and it just wouldn't be good for the game and for Treyarch's success. So Treyarch, they have to, if they're going to remaster a map again like they did with Black Ops 3, where they had the Giant and Shadows of Evil, if they're going to do that same setup again as the first 2 base on-disc maps, they need to give people a solid map to play, a solid remastered map. Obviously, we all love zombies, but there's a huge audience that doesn't really understand the nostalgia and the memes and this and that. So you need a Mob of the Dead or a Buried, a solid, fun map to bring, you know, for people to play. It's just as simple as that. So again, you know, we have unlimited possibilities. We really don't know what they're gonna do. DLC 5 was just a thought and a dream, and that happened. So the fact that happened, anything is possible, you know. But if you really want to bring it down to the different possibilities, what is realistic, I think honestly, Call of the Dead. If you're talking about this, if this leak and this tease today if it had anything to do with Black Ops 1, Call of the Dead would be the map. And if it's just talking about general zombies maps to be remastered, Mob of the Dead and maybe Buried, but probably Mob of the Dead. And that's really it. That's really all you can go off of. And again, we'll make different videos talking about Transit Remastered and how that would work and what that would be like and all that cool stuff. But I think generally that's what we have right now, and that's what we should sort of expect. So that being said, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Leave a comment below, MOTD, just Mob of the Dead. If you're watching the whole video, it's obviously greatly appreciated, and yeah, see you guys later. Goodbye.